That they will include people with disability in the discussion and the solutions.
It's hoped the Royal Commission also improves the accessibility for anyone wanting to make a report about mistreatment.
When they do try and disclose that something is happening, often they're not believed, often it's not taken seriously. This is a huge problem.
Experts say the terms of reference will be crucial to the Commission's success.
That's going to encapsulate what is and isn't investigated and to the extent of that investigation. And then, of course, comes the recommendations. And then, of course, comes the government hoping, that we hope that they adopt the recommendations.
The Prime Minister says the government takes the issue of abuse and neglect very seriously, but a timeline for the inquiry's yet to be set.
There's nothing more pressing than having this investigated and getting things right.
Stephanie Dalla, Win News.
Latrobe Valley parents are frustrated tonight, saying their kids' student rail pass costs almost 3 times more than passes in other regional centres. The member for Morwell is now calling on the state government to take action.
Morwell mother Jenny Seymour was horrified to discover she was paying almost triple the amount of other regions for students' rail passes.
For a lot of families at the start of the school year, they're just not in a position to outlay $607.
After reading through the state government's new student pass application form, she noticed the Latrobe Valley was missing from the regional option.
I was really angry. I just thought this is just another example of Gippsland and Latrobe Valley being disadvantaged.
Last year, the state government announced lower student rail pass fees for regional students, with those in Geelong, Ballarat, Bendigo, South West, Colac and Portland all receiving a 50% discount.
It's just nonsensical that you can be a student in Bendigo and acquire a regional student pass at $235 a year, whereas the Latrobe students can't even qualify for a regional student pass.
Parents are now urging the Minister for Transport to provide fair and equitable rail fees so their children can also use the same 6 and 12-month passes as other regions in the state. In Parliament today, the member for Morwell called on the Minister to provide equal transport access in addition to money already spent upgrading the Gippsland line. Valley parents are now refusing to pay for the passes until action's taken.
We've actually held off because we think that it's quite unjust that we don't get that discount as well.
Hayley Pepin, Win News.
Regional Victorians are benefiting from a faster and more powerful form of radiotherapy. A new study has found the SABRE technique produces higher survival rates in patients with inoperable lung cancer.
An exciting breakthrough and the proof's in the numbers. A study into stereotactic ablasive body radiotherapy showed a 30% improvement in survival rates.
That translated to a 2-year overall survival of 77% versus 59%.
A 10-year study by the Peter McCallum Centre found higher doses of radiation targeting the tumour more directly had better outcomes on patients' physical and mental well-being.
To visit us less often for a higher dose for a very, very conformal treatment and enables the treatment to be finished in a much quicker time frame.
The powerful form of treatment allows patients to receive just 4 rounds, down from 30.
It's quick, it's fast, they're in and out. It doesn't take 6 weeks out of their lives.
Patients really value time spent doing other things, spending time with their family.
The Chisel study was focused on the SABRE technique to use primarily on inoperable lung cancers, but it's hoped to be used again in the future with different cancers.
We expect over the next decade that many of the areas where we would use a conventional long course radiotherapy may be offered just as well with stereotactic radiotherapy.
Hannah Ulschwager, Win News.
Agriculture Minister David Littleproud is urging shoppers to abandon Coles and Aldi amid the $1 milk debate. Woolworths has raised the price of its own branded milk to $1.10 from today, with 10 cents going to struggling farmers. But Coles and Aldi have refused to follow suit. Coles says it will instead explore additional options to best support farmers. Coles was the first supermarket to cut milk to $1 a litre, prompting rivals to do the same. A shocking new report has revealed the number of animal cruelty cases in Victoria has doubled in the past decade. The RSPCA says the community is more proactive in reporting the offences, which means more offenders are fined or even jailed.
The number of offenders being punished for animal cruelty is on the rise.
I think it tells us that we're lacking not only empathy with each other, but empathy with all creatures.
The first review of sentencing for animal cruelty offences analysed more than 1,000 cases over 10 years and found the number of offenders sentenced between 2008 and 2017's doubled.
We prosecute more than half of all the animal cruelty cases in Victoria. Most cases involve neglect rather than deliberate cruelty.
The report found aggravated cruelty to be the most common offence, while failing to provide veterinary treatment and adequate food, water or shelter was also one of the biggest offences.
We've had cases where people have kept joeys themselves trying to raise them, and that hasn't gone very well. Quite often the animal, when it has been found, has needed to be euthanised.
While most offenders were fined, a small percentage was sentenced to an average 3 months in jail. The RSPCA supports sentencing guidelines for serious offences.
For the opportunity of sentencing guidelines for the judiciary so that there is consistency.
She says preventing neglect and abuse through education is crucial.
A lot of it's to do with the community actually recognising it and calling it out now more than ever.
Shannon Schubert, Win News.
Stargazers are being encouraged to look skyward this evening to catch a glimpse of this year's biggest moon, known as a supermoon. It's not a rare phenomenon, but tonight's will be larger and brighter than any other. It will occur at 2:53 a.m, but likely the best time to see the full moon is as it rises at sunset this evening. And after the break tonight, weeds costing farmers a staggering $13 million a day. And competition ramps up at Leongatha.
The DNA discovery that could switch off our phobias forever. 6:30.
In a bushfire, it's a really hot, violent environment. Flame temperatures are 1100 degrees or more. A lot of the smoke actually blocks out the light of the sun, so it makes visibility extremely difficult. Your ability to actually think rationally is drastically reduced. If you're exposed to that sort of environment without any level of protection, chances of surviving along are not great. It's a literal hell on earth.
There's no questioning the facts. Learn more at emergency.vic.gov.au. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
For over 50 years, Turnbulls has been the go-to for your new Toyota. But as the locals know, we're also Gippsland's used car experts. Specialising in commercial vehicles, Turnbull Toyota have a used car for every local lifestyle. Our friendly sales teams are backed by full mechanical checks from expert technicians and on-site finance advice. For personalised service and a great deal on a quality used vehicle, speak to your local team. Because Gippsland is Turnbull Toyota country.
This mattress looks clean, but...
This is Skin, food for dust mites whose excrement can cause allergies and asthma. Call Electrodry to properly clean your mattress and remove dust mites. So...
Try Electrodry.
My carpet's past its prime. I need to go to Weir's.
My timber floor is ruined. I need to go to Weir's.
The blinds have seen better days. Weir's. I need to go to Weir's now. Weir's Flooring Centre, York Street Sale.
8:33, 38-year-old female, imminent labour, priority 1.
She's beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
No matter how many times someone dies, it gets no easier.
The new season of Ambulance Australia starts next Tuesday.
New data has revealed weeds are costing Australian farmers a staggering $13 million a day. Experts say the problem is getting worse every year, prompting calls for greater control management.
For years, Mari Rinaldi's paddocks have been treated for weeds.
We keep on to it, and that's really the secret of it. You have to keep on to weeds. You just can't let them just take off for any length of time, especially the firs or gorse.
Owning 120 acres of land means it's turned into a costly exercise. And a new report's now revealed Aussie farmers are spending an alarming $13 million a day on weed control.
Chemicals wouldn't be cheap nowadays, but it would cost farmers, the big farmers, and that a lot of money.
Experts say varieties such as capeweed and gorse are getting out of control.
A lot of weed problem,
And the cost of herbicides, you wouldn't do anything for less than $15 a hectare, and it goes up and up and up from there.
And it can have a devastating effect on farmers, including ruining crop production.
In areas, serrated tussock areas, it's forced farmers off the land. It's a difficult weed to control, very costly and very re-invasive.
Prompting calls for the government to provide some relief for better control.
Perhaps subsidising chemical costs.
It would be great. We had a little bit of benefit now and again.
Stephanie Dalla, Win News.
Tarralgon's Centenary House will soon be able to cater for more cancer care patients and their families. The Blue Ribbon Foundation in Gippsland has donated $80,000 to provide 13 rooms and a lounge area. The new wing will also honour a police officer who died in the line of duty.
People come from interstate, and as I've learnt today, people come from overseas to Centenary House. So this contribution of the Blue Ribbon Foundation, it's really important.
Construction is expected to be completed in May and will accommodate 60 more people. Skaters and scooters from across the region have rolled into Leongatha to compete in the next round of the Skate Park League. The event hopes to encourage more young people to get outdoors and get active by participating in really good sports.
People from across the region got their skates on in Leongatha.
It's just about kind of promoting the sport on a grassroots level and giving these kids that are always at the skate park a chance to shine.
Part of the region's Skate Park League series, competitors showed off all their tricks on skateboards, scooters and BMXs.
There's tons of good scooter riders in particular out in this area.
Did pretty bad on my first run, but my second run was flawless. Really loved how it turned out.
The competition series hopes to encourage more young people to get active and rewarded for their participation in non-traditional sports.
Unlike other sports, these sports don't have a rock-solid foundation in which these kids get told that they're actually doing a good job.
While there are winners, competitors are judged more so by their creativity.
It's up to your personal creativity. You can do the tricks that you like to do, the tricks that you've been practicing, and if you give it your best shot and the judges agree, you might win.
Prizes include skateboards, scooter grips, scooter wheels, clothing and online vouchers.
It's done on a raffle system, so even if you come first, second or third, if you just enter, you get a raffle ticket and you might win a prize. So it's just promoting everyone to get involved.
Non-for-profit Skate for Change was also there to talk about their latest endeavour, building a skate park in East Timor.
It's a good chance to get out and talk to the communities about other areas that need skateboarding as a positive impact and just spread the good vibes that skateboarding brings.
It's the best thing to do. Just get outside, have fun and do what you want.
Hayley Pepin, Win News.
Time for sport with Amy Duggan, and Ames World Cup fever of another kind is taking over.
It sure did, Bruce, with Australia taking on New Zealand at the Polo Cross World Cup. We'll have some action after the break. Also, the Falcons' run in the FFA Cup comes to an early end.
What happens when overseas surrogacy goes wrong? One Couple Story at 6:30.
Protein to feel fuller. Try Nutrigrain To Go protein squeezes. A thick and creamy oaty blend in 5 full-on flavours. Crush it. Boo.
Fast enough for tough mums. Tough on bugs for over 60 years. SC Johnson.
Get the latest new release Quintrex boats at JV Marine World, Victoria's home of Quintrex boats. Revolutionary new hull design for greater stability and performance. Factory engineered instant boating packages powered by the latest technology Evinrude E-Tech outboards on display now. If you love fishing, cruising or water sports, there is a Quintrex boat to suit your lifestyle. To see the largest range of Quintrex boats at the best prices, visit JV Marine World, 2 huge locations, Brayside and Laverton, or jvmarine.com.au.
For New Holland and Alpago sales and service, see Gendor in Warragul, Leongatha and Tooradin.
Melbourne Camper Trailer Centre, your local Cub and Trayon Campers dealership. Whether you're looking to purchase, hire or service a camper, get down to Melbourne Camper Trailer Centre. The Camper Trailer Specialists, 1 Hogan Court, Pakenham.
was a person holding their bag floating in the water.
New Bondi Rescue, 7:30 tomorrow on Win.
In sport, the Falcons' run in the FFA Cup's come to a premature end against the Moonee Valley Knights in the competition's second qualifying round. Despite leading at half-time, the Falcons couldn't hold on, losing in a dreaded penalty shootout.
The Moonee Valley Knights were a long way from home, and they felt the impact of travel in the first half. Falcons leading 2-1 in a fiery affair. The Knights returning fire as frustrations grew. Chances began to build for the Travellers as the hosts sat back and tried to defend the slender lead. The Knights wingers proving to be a chink in the armour for the Falcons, who were barely holding on with full time seemingly ages away. Eventually the pressure proved too much and the hosts couldn't clear their lines. The ledger squared at 2-2 and the Knights pushing to go one better. The casualties came thick and fast as the warm afternoon began taking a toll. And when the Falcons did manage to put a forward move together, options came few and far between. Extra time beckoned and in opposite fashion to the 90 minutes, no goals were scored. Falcons eventually going down on penalties, a heartbreaking end to their run in the FFA Cup. But Valley soccer fans will be glad to know the region's representation in the Cup isn't over. Monash won a thriller over Castlemaine Goldfields FC and have earned passage into a third-round qualifying clash against the Aspendale Stingrays. Louis Gillett, Win News.
Australia and New Zealand have gone head-to-head in a polo cross exhibition game in Western Victoria. The Trans-Tasman rivalry was in full display as both teams tried to rein in their opponent.
Australia was under no illusions. It was going to be a tough grind against New Zealand.
The New Zealanders are a very handy side. They've, I'm not sure where they've placed in the last few World Cups, but they've been right up there in every tournament and they'll be hard to beat.
The New Zealanders also paying their respects to their Trans-Tasman rivals, saying they'll have to be at their best to win.
They're a formidable outfit, and they always have been. So yeah, it's a big challenge for us coming over here riding their horses, and but we're really looking forward.